Cool. That's the best case scenario.
You just got meetings.
Call this meeting of Timberville Town Council order, April 11, 2024, and stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Debbie, you only ask Isaac to slide over there so it's more balanced over here.
I don't feel lonely. He's welcome to if he wants.
Okay, everybody, should have gotten your minutes in your packet, and I'm sure you've all had, a moment to review them. So, any questions on the minutes? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Debbie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Go around the room.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all. Okay, you also got a copy of the treasurer's report with the current balances. I think the money markets are still doing quite well, which is always good to see. Any questions on any of the funds there? Okay. Bills for payment. Any questions on any line items on the bills before we move to pay the bills? Quiet one should be. No questions? Down to the motion.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Thank you, Sarah. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Debbie. Go around the room.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Chief, what do you got for us for a police report?
Annual report's ready. I'll give everybody a copy of when it's done, and the front office will at some point find an appropriate place to put it on. That's all I got.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, someone.
I do have a quick question. I saw on here the emergency vet code is okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave was having digestive issues that we think we got resolved.
All right, good.
Okay. Public Works AC, hopefully you have something to talk about.
Probably not. So I sent out an email this afternoon, real late notice, because I didn't get the information from VDOT until today. Quentin, do you want to tell us, we have to donate some land to VDOT for the sidewalk improvements out here on Macaulay Drive. And that was the question kind of popped into my head this afternoon once they sent it over, was how do we do that? Is it something that council can just take action on, or do we have to, are there other steps? So Quentin, do you want to, do you have any input in like the 2 minutes of research that you've had to be able to do that?
Unfortunately, there's no, like, anytime you're getting rid of town-owned property, whether it's real estate or personal property, we need to have a public hearing to tell citizens that we're about, so that citizens can come out and say, hey, you're getting rid of property. Even when we're donating it to a project that we desperately want in concert with VDOT. So I've looked as much as I could quickly to see if there was some exemption for donating it to another government entity in this case, especially where we're ultimately going to be the beneficiary of the work. And there's just not an exemption that I can find. So unfortunately, I think we will have to do a public hearing.
That's fine. We've got enough meetings coming up with budget work sessions that we can probably schedule it for one of those, so that we don't have to wait until a full month.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I kind of figured that's probably what,
I mean, we'll keep looking when I have more than literally 2 minutes.
yeah.
And see, and if there's some way that we can do it quicker, we will. But I mean, I looked at the form, I mean, we probably need to add a few little things, but as far as like the deed, they said there's no real issue with it.
Yeah.
And if it was going the other way, if they were giving it to us, we could accept it without having a public hearing. But in order to get rid of it, we gotta have a public hearing.
And it's just this little teeny thing out there.
It's a little strip over up on the
Sidewalk.
side here because of where the sidewalk is gonna come up through, to meet up where the crosswalks are going.
The only other thing we could do is we could grant an easement, right, without giving them the actual land now, so that they could go ahead and start the construction and then ultimately wind up giving them the road after the public hearing, if that was gonna affect their timeline. Because you don't have to have a public hearing to grant the easement.
Gotcha.
But I don't think they're.
Yeah, I don't know how that would play into their plans, so.
It's just one of those things that they can also just do it, like, with our permission, you know, like, yeah, improve our property, but they may not want it without actually owning the title.
Yeah.
So,
I think probably they have requirements for it to go out to bid, that they have to have something in hand.
they have to own it in fee simple. But that's why I suggested an easement. If they could send it out to bid with just the easement rights, we could do that very quickly.
Okay.
And how much notice do you need to do that, actually? If we wanted to have it, how early do we have to put that?
I'm not sure if it's a 2-week or 1-week notice.
Okay. So we definitely could do it for one of those
Yeah.
wrap-ups. Okay.
Yeah, no property shall be disposed of until the governing body has held a public hearing concerning such disposal. Now, I'd have to look, you know, because it's referenced
Yeah,
in the other
references
code
to
sections.
sections.
But I think, you know, it's possible it doesn't have to be the full 2 weeks. We don't get this done tomorrow, so that you know when to schedule.
Thank you. American Legion Park bathroom project, the footers have been poured and inspected and actually stopped there on the way over as I was coming back this evening, and they have all the block over there ready to go. So it's moving along rapidly.
And it's a finished type block, it's not.
It's the-
cinder block.
Right, it's the split face,
Whatever
which
it's
is
called.
textured on the outside, on the one side of it, so. So yeah, feel free to stop over and look at the progress that they've made so far. That's just since Tuesday.
Okay.
Last month's meeting, we brought up about the different things that were to be sent to the planning commission for their review. Planning commission started talking about those at their last meeting. One thing that came up through a bunch of emails amongst the town managers in the last week and a half are these issues of shipping containers being used as permanent storage buildings. I think Newmarket has language in place already, but it's something I'm going to bring up to the planning commission that we need to look at before we have a whole bunch of shipping containers sitting all over, because apparently it's getting popular very rapidly. And shipping containers are, basically what you see on barges that they haul overseas to carry materials in. Just not the most attractive accessory buildings that you can see back there. So we'll try to get something in place, look at that and review it and see if there's something that needs to be put in place before we have a whole bunch of requests for those. At last month's meeting, I think it was Mrs. Gray asked about messages on bill cards, why we aren't putting stuff on there. So I asked Michelle about that, and she said, because we were one of the first ones that found out how we had to do it. Quentin came down and met with us. There's language we have to put on the bill cards by Code of Virginia, to give the notice of when water will be cut off and things like that. And so this is a sample. Y'all know what your water bill looks like. So the language that's in there is 4 lines of it. That takes up all the space for where we can put messages in. So we don't have any space on the bill cards anymore where we can put in about the Easter egg hunt or National Night Out or any of the other events. It all is taken up by the legal requirements for the building.
That's a shame.
So just wanted to get that out there so that everybody was aware of that. And while we're talking about Mrs. Gray is the one that brought it up, we want to thank the Grays for their donation of materials they had left over from the building project. They donated some lumber, some plywood, I believe, to the town, brand new materials that they just didn't have use for. So I believe our guys went down and picked it up. So, very nice of them. And the final thing I have is the notice that we are the champions.
That's right.
WSIG, 96.9 WSIG, the radio station, held a tournament of towns to coincide with March Madness. And so they did a bracket, and there were 32 towns throughout the Shenandoah Valley And the championship round came down to Broadway and Timberville, and we came out victorious on that. So thanks to town staff and especially Cecilia for promoting that. She did a great job of getting that out there and drumming up the votes. So,
You were waiting for a trophy or?
yeah, we don't know what we actually win, if it's anything more than bragging rights, but they really should have some kind of trophy or something that gets passed around each year. Any questions on Public Works? Anything that I might have missed? We will be going into closed session at the end to discuss.
And hopefully that's the last one, I think, hopefully. Hopefully it's resolved. We'll see. The park down here, the insurance and that's taken
okay.
care of. and-
So, yeah, during the big windstorm, we had a tree that came down on the shelter. The insurance adjuster came out, they're sending us a check, and our guys have already made the modifications to that shelter. We're gonna, instead of trying to put it back, that area where the tree fell on was the secluded area where all the bad behavior took place, or majority of the bad behavior took place. So it is now open, it's a patio area, and it looks really nice.
It does look really good.
It gives the building a completely different character when you look at it. So our town crew did the work on that, and they did an excellent job as always. And we now have a experiment going on to see if there's any drainage issues with it being a
Oh, yeah,
patio.
we'll have to try
The
it.
mayor woke up at 5:30 in the morning, yesterday morning,
Yeah.
and thought of this.
Why was it in my head? Woke up in the middle of the night going, it's not gonna hear. But we'll figure it out. We're gonna have a good hard rain today, so we'll figure it out. Okay. So you got?
That's all I have for Public Works.
Okay. Yeah, I think for business and industry, any updates on the two businesses that are coming?
The restaurant is, what was May? Is that what we were told, like end of May or something,
Yeah.
maybe, for the restaurant opening now?
Like sometime in May.
restaurant is
This is Mr. Garcia's that's going in at the old drugstore building. I know Sharon, you've been asking about the drainage and stuff there for a while, and the gentleman with the restaurant called me the other day and asked whose responsibility that was, and I told him that it's the property owner's responsibility, because we've already talked to VDOT, so he was going to go talk to the property owner about that.
Okay.
So we'll see where that gets to. And I don't have any updates on any other business right now.
Okay. Parks and Rec. We probably hit all that up already.
Except we had
Yeah,
the,
you guys had a meeting.
yeah, Parks and Rec Committee had a meeting, good meeting, we got hailed on. It was interesting. Had to run under and take cover. So I sent the synopsis of that meeting out to everybody so you can kind of see what we're looking at coming into budget. There weren't any huge projects that we're looking at right now, dollar-wise, but there are a lot of small improvements that will definitely, and some will be significant improvement to the parks, and we'll figure out how many of them we can fund, if we want to fund all of them, but that'd be, it's good to go into the budget discussion having those thoughts in mind. We did have there was a Rails to Trails information session today for the Shindo Valley, or the Rail Trail Partnership and the Friends of the Rail Trail. Rockingham County was in attendance, representatives from the different legislators, Overshane, and
Wilk was there.
and who was the,
I don't remember the other name. It wasn't their area, but it was,
Bob. Bob was the representative, his same last name is,
I don't know.
it's slipping my mind right now. Pilgrims and Cargo were represented, and the Shindo Valley Bicycle Coalition, the Alliance for the Shindo Valley were there, and of course we were there. They brought a speaker in from Arkansas, and he was very good. He was instrumental in the Razorback Trail in northwest Arkansas, and the mayor has familiarity with that area because of his former employment with Conair.
They put in a 40-mile, now that I was since gone since they put it in, they put in a 40-mile greenway. And when you go to north of Arkansas, you go from town to town, you really don't know if you're leaving one town to hit the other. They're blended together so well. And they had started out with like 16 miles on the top, 16 on the bottom. And then through a grant, over a period of 4 years, they filled in the remainder about of it. But the gentleman was real good speaker. He actually worked for Walmart when it was happening. He's the one who helped with the grants and so forth to do it. And he says now they currently have 200 miles of bike trail and 556 of soft terrain service, mountain biking and stuff like that, miles down there. And he was talking about how it goes to connect, keeps people connected. They talked a lot about, since COVID, since people have gotten used to being locked in their home and they're doing their jobs at home, that people aren't getting out and people are getting depressed, that they're missing out on meeting with people and how this draws people out so they can get their connection back with people. And he also talked about what it generates. And theirs down there every year generates about $51 million in additional business. But what he said, it generates $86 million in health savings, where people are healthier, they're walking, they're cycling, their mental health is better, and that much, people are saving that in their insurance and so forth as expenditure. He did say the emergency room expense a little more because we do have a few collarbones and things like that, is what he said. But it's just very neat what this could possibly turn into. And he was a very well, what professional team did he play for?
New York Giants.
He played for the Giants. He was a big old man.
Yeah. 6'4", he was in the Super Bowl, what did I say, 35? Yeah.
Yeah. He left there and worked for Walmart. Now he's working for this group. I don't know.
Lane Shift is the
Lane
name.
Shift, yeah.
Mhm.
But and that's what they do. They work for it. And they showed how the cyclists would, when they're on their bike, they go have lunch and they drive into the bike shop to get a tune-up on their bike and they head on out, kind of thing. It's just neat what could happen. And we were talking down there about how it helps with the plant employees, how they could basically get on at the railroad track, go all the way across and never be on the main road. They could walk to work, walk back and never get on the main road. So it was a neat meeting. He's going to send us the presentation out that they used and we can distribute it to everybody. It's just a lot of nice information on it. I think we can post it on wherever we want to post it to.
Yeah, and the partnership and Friends of the Rail Trail are also looking, if you want to follow up, we need another open public meeting to kind of go through some of this stuff.
And I think they gave the same presentation up in Strasburg to see what they're doing it, I guess, right now. Okay, that's all I have for that. Finance, have we picked a day yet for the budget?
We have not.
So I know AC talked about next Monday, next Tuesday, the following Monday, the following Tuesday, and then some other random day, which I didn't write down. Is there-
Any day suits me except Monday. This Monday.
Okay.
It's my
Okay.
birthday. Sure, it'll be a big
You don't want to
party.
sit here on your birthday and talk budgets?
We'll make you a cake.
Yeah, I'll have a big birthday, sure.
Okay, so get back to AC tomorrow if you can, and let them know
So
the cake
any
works.
day, I'll do them.
And you got mine already, so get back with AC, we'll have a meeting. Hopefully we can do this in one big meeting. We usually-
Potentially.
We usually have one big meeting and a little meeting.
Right, yeah.
We'll get it knocked out for next council meeting. Okay, personnel, chief, AC, got anything for us?
No, sir.
Okay. Sharon, you want something before I ask Beth to come on up here?
The only thing I have, we had a program Sunday on gardening. Arlene Reed from Glen Haven. It was great. That's it.
Now, I have a question for you. For donations, like the Lions Club closed their doors last year, so they have some stuff from the club, like the original bell, the charter, all that. Do I, anytime on that 1 to 4, I can go down and take it down some? Cool.
And if you want to bring it next Friday, I'm working.
Okay, I'll bring it down
Yeah.
next Friday. Okay. Dad, you got something for us?
I don't have anything new, you want to hear it again?
Oh, I
Yeah.
I probably forgot it. Let's do some more.
Still have that thing you found?
I Yeah, still have. I gotta bring it, set
Yeah, I need to see
set
that.
on the Foot Locker at home. Yeah, I'll have to bring it in. I keep forgetting about it.
January of 1943, a windstorm blew the belfry from the top of the school to the ground, leaving the bell in place. This happened during the school hours, but no one was injured. December 15th, 1912, a literary society meeting was held. The debate was, Lincoln deserves more credit for preserving the Union than Washington did for originating it. And we didn't have any, it wasn't who won the debate, it didn't tell.
Okay.
October 6, 1902, school commences today with 14 scholars in the high school. These came from the dad's diaries, of course. Sunday, November 8th, 1925, no church services were held today because of scarlet fever and diphtheria outbreaks in Timberville and Broadway. Saturday, October 29th, 1932, a Halloween party was held at the schoolhouse tonight with a large crowd in attendance. That's across from your house. April 1929, preparations were being made by the Southern Railway to replace the river bridge across the Shenandoah River. And we talked about that before. That's, of course, the river bridge that's there now. And it's a big plaque underneath of a very big metal plaque. And it was a Roanoke Iron and Bridge Works or something. And it has a date on it, 1929. And February 1st, 1948, it was 40 degrees below zero at the Will Hoover Farm. Now, that's unofficial, of course, but the coldest temperature ever recorded in Rockingham County was 25 below. That's official. At the Will Hoover Farm, that's down where Lindbergh landed his plane.
Okay.
Charles Lindbergh landed in Timberville. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, you come this summer, you'll find out all kinds of stuff.
Learned a lot already.
Yeah, that was Will Hoover's farm where Lindbergh landed the plane. August 1st, 1904, Byers Hoover and Company opened for business. That was in the left-hand side of the old Farmers Merchants Bank building there in town. That's because going in the bank, that was, you went on the right side door, Byers and Hoover was the left side. And that's all I got.
Bev, I got a question for you. I was down in Dayton last weekend, and one of the BFW members said he heard that there was German prisoners were kept
Yes.
in Timberville.
Oh, yeah, that's one of our big stories, the people that come through town from, especially from out of state. The Lindbergh thing is the most famous as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, we had a German prisoner of war camp back in 81, about 3 miles out of town. And, yeah, that was 1944, 1945. Now, in the wintertime, they shipped them down to a camp, what's the camp, down the southern part of Virginia, Pickett. And then in the summertime, they would bring them back up. And, let's see, I think I remember the years, the most prisoners they ever had at one time, I think, was 213. I think a lot of times it might have been maybe 100 and something.
But did they work over here at the Alpha?
Yeah, they worked at the Ziegler Cannery, they worked at the cold storage, and like over at the poultry plant. And the farmers could bring in a truck and rent out a crew of the prisoners and work on the farm for the day, and then they'd take them back out. And some of the older people used to tell me that when the prisoners come through Main Street at Timberville, they were just singing up a storm. And I heard a lot of people say
A
that.
lot better than being in Germany.
They were well treated here. And I always said the best thing that happened to those prisoners was being captured.
Coming here?
And I think that was probably true.
Okay, any other business, council? It'll be a quick one today. Okay, public comment. We got a couple visitors. Anybody like to make some comments? If so, come up, introduce yourself, and make a comment. Anybody? Then does anyone have anything to read about going to closed session?
Nah, it's like there in front.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to go into closed session again. Hopefully it's the last one.
A7, it's like 4 or 5 down.
I move we go into closed session pursuant to Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3711A7 for consultation with legal counsel on actual or probable litigation.
Okay. We need a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take a few